cases, and some of these are design cases, as Scott's been showing so far. And in fact, the tabs that we have as a user, given these tabs various names, the icons that show up on each tab indicate what sort of BOP analysis was done. So a D is indicating that this particular case had designs, and a P indicates parametric, and if we had run any optimization cases, you get an icon with an O. And then if the icon of whichever type is filled in with green, that indicates that that particular case has been run and has outputs available to it. And this is an important thing to know in BOP, and so I want to give you a kind of user's tip here. If you, for example, went to the option screen here for this case, and while I'm here, let me just indicate that these are then the second level of tabs are the various designs that we saw. And let's say that I wanted to go to the lighting design, and I scroll down to lighting, and I wanted to change this. So I'm going to click on lighting. That'll bring up here, and what I have is 100% fluorescent as the characteristic for lighting for this particular design. Let's say that I wanted to use 40%. The problem being here is that the 40% and all other options are grayed out. And so you as a user might think, gosh, what's going on? The BOP seems to be frozen, seems to be broken. It is frozen on purpose, and that is because this design has been simulated. And so, as we know, we have outputs. So what BOP does, whenever you have outputs, and you're going to save this as a project file, then the inputs are frozen. Because compared to the old days with some simulation tools and models, you maybe had your outputs saved in a file separate from your inputs, and it's very frustrating to go back a month later and say, here are the outputs, but what were the inputs that gave these results? And so BOP always saves inputs to go with outputs, and that's why the inputs are frozen, is because if you made a change here, now it would be inconsistent with these particular outputs. So if you wanted to do something, you have a choice. You can go to the case and clear, and that will flush the outputs. Now you can make changes. If the one change you wanted to make was to go to 40% lighting, you could make that change and then rerun that particular case. So whenever things are frozen and not allowing inputs, and this is true on each of the three input screens, you need to remember that indeed the case that you're looking at may be frozen as indicated by the green icon because it has outputs associated with it. Now, if you wanted to save these outputs, obviously you could in fact construct a new case and make your change to say 40% fluorescent lighting and run a new case with new results. So that's the issue of frozen inputs. Maybe just at this point mention another user tip. If your BOP is constraining you in other ways from inputs, or some options are not showing up that you thought maybe had shown up, and BOP seems to be frustrating you a bit, it may be because you're in retrofit mode, which imposes a number of additional constraints for purposes of doing retrofit analysis. So generally speaking, if you're trying to do straightforward simulations, you may want to be in new construction mode. As we've mentioned, cases are user defined. It's entirely up to you. You can make different cases for different climates, or if you're doing analysis in a single climate and you want to explore, say, low-cost utility rates versus high-cost utility rates, you can create a new case and name it accordingly and make the changes. And so, for example, one thing is that designs down at this level, you can change things on the option screen and create different designs. But at the design level, you cannot, for example, change the weather data, location, or the utility assumptions. Anything that's on the site screen requires a new case. And similarly, if you want a new geometry, you're going to need to make a new case, not simply a new design.